Every once in a while, I love a good gimmick game. Something weird that makes me interact with the game in a new way, and Nintendo has obviously been going out of their way to make fun new ways to play their games basically for as long as they've been making games, period. The Switch 2's control gimmick is mouse mode. There have been a couple things with some mouse mode integration in these first couple months of the Switch 2's life, but this month we got our first Nintendo-made mouse mode dedicated game in Drag and Drive. And it's one that makes use of the most interesting factor with mouse mode in that it uses both left and right Joy-Con simultaneously. You have most certainly played a game with a mouse before, but have you played a game that required both hands to use mice? Probably not, and that specific idea is one I've been really looking forward to experiencing since the reveal of mouse mode. Well, the question is Drag and Drive the right game to sell this cool new way of playing a game? We'll see. Quick reminder up front, if you enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, and if you want to hear my thoughts on more games, consider subscribing. Alright, so to give a quick demonstration of how the controls work, make sure you got your straps on so you're safe. Move forward, you want to push forward like this. Move backward, you want to pull back like this. To turn, you want to like twist, like you want to turn to the left, you want to push with your right hand. To turn to the left or right, you want to push with your left hand. You can spin faster if you want to move fast one direction. The L and R button passes. The trigger buttons, ZR, ZL, brakes. You actually grab one wheel. If you hit the right one, you grab the right wheel. Left one, hit the left one. That can make some really tight turns. You're going to shoot by picking up the hand you want to shoot with and just doing a shooting motion. Pretty simple. And if you want to dunk, you want to get some speed, go off the ramp to the side, and dunk. Pretty straightforward. I mentioned at the start of the video I like a good gimmick game every once in a while. In my head, I put these games in a different bucket than the ones you play with a classic controller setup. I'll be much more forgiving to a fun but flawed motion control game, or something that's trying to force me to do something different to make the game work than I would something with a normal control scheme that just misses the mark. Now, it sounds like I'm trying to front load a bunch of excuses as to why this game isn't so bad, and well, only kinda. I do think this game is fun, but it's clearly not for everybody. If you're the kind of person, like me, who would get a kick out of a game just because it's doing something different, I bet you will have a good time here. If you are not, and you're looking for something a little deeper, I don't think this game is going to be for you. Drag and Drive lives and dies on its gimmick. If there were other games that had similar control schemes, this game would be much more harshly judged from me. When you turn the game on, you'll be sent to an online arena with about a dozen people. This is the one and only setting of the game, which is one of my bigger complaints. It's not that the skate park, grungy, underground basketball setting was bad per se, but it's that it's all you'll see the entire game. It's always so dark and gray and sad looking, it brings down the experience in my eyes. I've seen people online referring to the game as drab X-Drive. It would be neat for just small adjustments, like maybe sometimes you're outside. Some basic arena, same basic arena structure, but maybe it's a beachside instead. Something a little more bright and colorful to mix it up every once in a while could have been nice. Anyways, while you're here in this arena, you can explore a bit, wandering away from the two basketball courts in the center to find a variety of challenges scattered about. These challenges are actually my favorite part of the game. They both serve as a sort of tutorial to get the mechanics down, and as a challenge once you get to some of the harder ones. There are about 15 or so of these to check off, earning you some cosmetics for your character as you meet the times and scores for each. There was one particular challenge in this game that was really making me kind of lose my mind, wanting to tear my hair out, almost smash these Joy-Cons with a hammer. I felt like I knew what to do, I knew how to do it, but I just couldn't pull it off. I'm not one to really blame the controller, but I feel like I just wasn't picking up my inputs like I wanted it to. And I had to remind myself, slow it down, be very deliberate with my motions. And if I, got too frantic or tried to change directions too fast, I was just going to spin out and it wouldn't be good. On to the actual basketball portion of the game. I thought this was fun, but I found myself wishing I had just more challenges to go back to knock out instead. The 3v3 online matches really were dependent on the skill and gameplay style of both your opponents and your teammates. Everyone knows the age-old tale of playing online with randoms and them not playing as a team. They're not passing the ball, they're taking dumb shots, they're not playing defense. If you were matched against 3 people who knew what they were doing, and you had even one weak point on your team, you were going to be in for a bad time. Even when I knew what I was doing though, I do think playing defense is pretty hard in this game. The controls are already finicky and tough enough that having to make quick reactions as someone else is changing directions on a spot can really leave you in the dust quite often. And believe me, I took advantage of that as well when I had the ball. I found oftentimes it was easiest to just make a move to the basket and not even thinking about taking a shot from range. Once you understand all the angles and the speed needed for dunks, they became pretty easy to pull off. Maybe high-level drag and drive players would feel differently, but with the audience at launch, it's so common to get matched with somebody just spinning in circles and you can just go right by them. If you want to play with friends, quick PSA, I have not played with friends personally, but I have read some impressions from those who have tried, and if you get in the same lobby with your friends, there is no guarantee you'll be matched up with your friends on the same team. Just another example of Nintendo stepping on rakes with online stuff, making things more difficult than necessary. Sure, I could follow the logic that maybe they want to keep teams balanced or whatever. Go into a lobby with 2 friends and just dominate a team of randoms would make for some frustrating experiences for other players, but to be honest, that's what playing games online is like. I'm not sure you need to try to fix that by limiting some players from playing with their friends on a team, assuming my logic tracks for why they made that decision. But it's also worth pointing out that there is a friends-only lobby, but look at me with a straight face and tell me that you have at least 5 other friends with this game all looking to play Drag and Drive at the same time. At the end of each match, the online lobbies will go into a sort of arena-wide minigame, which you can opt out of if you like. There are 2 options. One is a fast-paced race downhill with some obstacles between you and the finish line, which I thought was very fun and I wanted more of. And then there was this goofy one where everyone just fights for a high bouncing rebound, which was a lot less fun, and I normally opted out of that one. I think the racing game could actually spin off into a decently fun little game of its own if they threw together some longer tracks. If you don't want to play online, like I sometimes didn't, you can back out to an offline version of the arena. This is much better for checking off those challenges so you don't get pulled into a game like an online lobby often would, right in the middle of a challenge run. There are also 10 levels of computer bot games you can play with a wide variety of difficulty. These are good for getting a good feel of the game, but if you're wanting a challenge here, you're only going to really feel that on the last 2 or 3 difficulties. Overall, I think I have to kind of grade Drag X Drive on a curve. It's pretty light on content. It's pretty dull and dark and gray most of the time. I don't love the main mode, but I did genuinely really like the challenges, and just being able to interact with the game in a new way felt fresh, and just getting to experience a new control scheme is always a fun experience for me. I do appreciate this game's existence, and hopefully it might inspire other devs or maybe Nintendo themselves down the line to make that downhill racer game using the mouse controls, or make just more time trial, like the challenges of this game. Make a game based around that with more of them. I think this game could be, the genesis, the foundation of what mouse mode games could be. But I fear, we're going to look back on this in 5 years and, there's going to be no new mouse mode games, and we're going to be like, man, wish I had more games like Drag and Drive. But we'll see. If you made it this far in the video, I would love to hear, what you want to see out of mouse mode games, whether Drag X Drive is going the right direction for you, or you want something whole new, different entirely. But yeah, I'd be interested to hear your comments. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.